75th Hunger Games begin.
We can't possibly see how Odysseus' actions were actually altruistic and selfless, and how he really did the things he did not to sleep around with some half-goddess, but to find a way home to his true love and a son who he hasn't even met yet. And although he made a few mistakes on his journey, how can we call them sinful if he had the purest of intentions? We should not call this man evil. We should call him a hero, because that is what he is.
He had the help of gods. He had crew that died. He knew that they were going to die. He knew that there was a way off the island. He knew that there was so many ways that he could get a hold of his family, let them know he was alive. He had so much help along the way. There were so many things that helped him get through all of those challenges. And in the real world, do we have help with those challenges? Wouldn't that make us heroes?
I had to do whatever was necessary to come back home to her. I did not do this for love or infidelity or betrayal. I did it because I had to, and I wouldn't have. I wouldn't be here right now.
Why did you kill the suitors?
Why wouldn't I kill the suitors? I mean, they've been in my house for like 20 years. They eat all my food, all my livestock. They want to take my wife. They're planning to kill my son. Would it have been more wrong if I would have just let them?
King of Ithaca?
Yes.
So, you were gone for 20 years.
Yes.
Why did you leave your home in the first place?
To fight the Trojans in Troy.
For?
Because Agamemnon told us to. I have an allegiance to him, and I'm always loyal.
So, you left home to save a woman, and then you encountered struggles on the way home.
Exactly.
Now, you had your shipmates, too, on your way back to Ithaca.
Yeah.
All for a woman, too. For your wife, Penelope, stuck at home for 20 years. Did you ever try to...
Objection?
Ooh?
Please state your objection.
You stated that Odysseus left to fight and rescue a woman, but that's not the whole story. The whole story is that he left to go save the princess, yes, but the Trojans and the Greeks had a lot of animosity for years, and then taking the princess was the last straw, not the start of the animosity.
Objection. No, state your defense to this.
Before the Trojan War, the Greeks and the Trojans had just almost established peace, and then the ignorance of one man to take another man's wife started an entire war to fight that a lot of people died for, that Odysseus was forced into going and could not have a mind of his own.
Natalie, your objection has been sustained. Madeline.
I didn't know at the time. I didn't know what was happening to us. What I did know was that the sea was angry. She was churning and swirling with such a force, I'm surprised the ship survived. I don't quite remember what was going through my head at the time. It was all a blur. We were just trying to get to calm waters, rowing as hard as we could. She came upon us so quickly. 1 second we were on the ship, rowing for our lives. The next we were in the air, kicking and flailing, trying desperately to get away from this thing. I don't remember much of what I was thinking my last moments on the boat, but I do remember what was going through my mind when I died. I remember praying and pleading for my life. I remember calling out to Odysseus, our mighty leader, the great king of Ithaca. When her claws dug into my flesh, I remember not being able to form words. I just screamed. The agony was unbearable. She slashed my throat last. I think she liked hearing my screams.
Wow. You were very loyal to him. Do you think he actually repaid you for your loyalty in any way?
How could he repay me? I'm dead now. My family's still poor. I don't even know if they know I'm dead or not.
And how do you feel knowing that the man you once followed and led you into your death is now living luxuriously with his own family, and you never got really the chance to?
I feel robbed. Does it say something to you that when he got back, everything was messed up, and when he was there before, everything was okay? I'm mean, yeah, his house was being like robbed and stuff, but he didn't die, did he?
So if he did tell you about your death 5 minutes before, or how many minutes before it did happen, what would you have done?
I would have tried to defend myself, and if I couldn't have, then yeah, I would have died, but I would have died trying.
You know, I never liked Calypso. Who holds a hopeless man captive when he is trying to get back to his true love? Quite despicable, actually. Could get him out of the hell and lead him to his heaven. The good guy would finally have a chance to be a victor. I grabbed my favorite sandals and headed down to see Odysseus' child Telemachus and started for the journey to end a journey. Yeah.
Why did you side with Odysseus instead of the suitors?
Well, Odysseus has been a good man from the start. Since he left his home, he was for the good guys, so. And the suitors just went into his household and took everything, so why would I go for them?
Why did Odysseus not tell his crew about Scylla?
I think if I were about to die, I'd want to not worry about it. I think he did the right thing by not telling him, so they could live their last minutes in peace and not worrying, oh, I'm never going to see my family again. Oh, I'm never going to be a dad. They could just die happy.
And then, so you let him try that with Circe, without help. And then he's ended up staying there for even longer with his crew members.
He, he,
What is your question?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was asking, why did Athena let Odysseus just try it by himself when he was with Circe instead of helping him then too?
Well, because for Circe, she didn't love him. He was getting information while sleeping with her, and Calypso, she just loved him so much, and she wasn't going to let him go. And he was, I think he had more hope with Circe than he had less hope with Calypso.
I spent 20 years waiting, feeling lonely in my home, though I was bombarded by suitors, waiting for my husband to come home, wondering if he'd ever come home. I was vulnerable. I never lost loyalty, though. The suitors would press me to choose someone to marry, but I'd always give them false promises to put it off to bide more time. My once beautiful home and wonderful life had changed for the worse. I had thought he was dead, but had he been off doing something else? I spent my nights wondering, hoping my beloved husband would come home. So when he finally came home, showed up the suitors and the challenge I had made, I didn't know what to think. 20 years he never wrote, never sent a word to me, and now he expects me just to jump on him like a dog when their master gets home? I don't think so.
You said that you love Odysseus, and when he left your home as a hero, correct?
Yes.
And you stayed loyal to him the whole 20 years he was gone, right?
Yes.
And when he returned, how did you feel about Odysseus in general, as a person?
I felt like he was away from me. Like, even though he was there, I felt like he was still gone. Like, he wasn't the man that I used to know.
He wanted you to jump on him like a dog when his master returned, correct?
Yes.
When he left, were you the only dog that jumped on him when master returned home?
Clarification.
Memo, don't beat around the bush, just tell her.
Oh.
It's kind of like a bird riding a turtle, when you think.
Memo, could you please state what that means?
Objection.
Please state your objection.
He just said that they didn't tell Penelope the whole story, but it says right here in the book how he started with how he fought the Sacones, and then he came to the Lotus Eaters' lush green land, and then another quote is, sleep never sealed her eyes until all was told. So he did tell her the entire story when they went to bed together after she did
So wait, he said
jump on him like a dog.
so wait.
Madeline, we regretfully inform you that we have sustained your objective.
So if you had ever doubted your husband's return, why would you
perform such elaborate schemes to delay the suitors?
Because I wasn't going to be disloyal to him. I was waiting for him to come home.
Why would Odysseus have cried night by night with Calypso if it was not out of heartbreak for you?
I don't know, but
If Odysseus wanted to be with another woman, he could have stayed with either Circe or Calypso. So why didn't he?
because he probably wanted to live and come home, but
To his wife,
yes, but he didn't have to stay with them.
but he could, and become immortal. But he declines. Why did he do it? Why did he decline?
Objection.
Please take objection.
Shouldn't that be asked to Odysseus? Why is Penelope supposed to answer what Odysseus was thinking?
Because she should know that Odysseus had the right intentions to stay with her, stay loyal to her.
Thank you. Please vote.
Eddie. Oh, I'm sorry. Glenn. I am sorry to inform you that me and the jury have decided to overrule your objection.
So, as you can see, Odysseus has had his fair share of imperfections, like all humans do, and I put in like just to bother Mr. Now. The difference between his and ours is that when we make an oopsie, we don't usually kill our friends and cheat on our significant others. Does it really seem like a hero to you? It would not be going too far at all to call ourselves heroes if Odysseus is considered one, and a presentation.
Clever phrase.
Granted, our competitor may say that Odysseus slept with Circe and Calypso. However, they are missing the fact that the book states that Odysseus was in a state of grief through that whole period of time. Our aspirant may also say that Odysseus isn't trustworthy because he didn't tell his crew about Scylla. The reason why is because he knew that the crew wouldn't have rowed once they saw Scylla, and he was right because once they reached Charybdis, the crew stopped rowing, or at very least slowed down and went to that side to look at Charybdis. Keep in mind that Odysseus also tried to find a way around Scylla, but was told that he had to go through her on page 275.
I was 16